everyone, I'm Grahtles, and welcome to a new episode of City Skylines. This is Kyntre Islands, and the last time we left off, we opened up a new tile and added to this neighborhood. We also leveled up our farm to level 4, and if you're new to my channel and you don't know what I do Let's Plays, tutorials, tips, tricks on City Skylines, and if you like what you see, please like, subscribe, comment, share. Turn on notifications so you'll get notified for when I put out a new video. And in today's episode, we're going to go ahead and we're going to convert the highway. So I'm going to turn this highway into a different highway exit. And yeah, you can follow along and see how it goes. And it's pretty simple. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing I'm going to do is just clear all the rocks and the trees from this area. It just makes it nice and clean to work with, and I'm not going to touch the neighborhood, just this side of the highway. Next, we're going to come in and just delete the highway. So I'm going to delete it all the way back. I have the budget, I'm not too worried, and I want to swing this out a little bit, and I want to level off the land just to make it a nice smooth entrance. So the first thing we're going to do is get gravel roads, and I'm going to use the gravel roads to build the highway first and then upgrade them later. And as you can see, I'm kind of swinging this away from our neighborhood. I kind of want to give them a little bit more room over there, and we will probably update that neighborhood a little bit to match the other side so it's uniform. Again, I'm a little OCD and I like it to be almost matching. So I thought it would be better to swing the highway out a little bit. Also, I'm going to put a roundabout in here. So I wanted the room, so I came out and I just made sure this was all level. Now, I don't want to go crazy with the terrain tool, but when it comes to the highways, you really do need to make sure you work on either a level ground when you put the exits in, or at least a smooth transition. So I decided to keep it level, and here I'm just building a 20 by 20 roundabout. What that means is I'm going to come down to the line twice. So I'm going to take this 1, 2, and then I'm going to come out by 1 on either side, and that will give me that circle. Next, I'm going to curve it in, and then I will upgrade the roundabout. Next, we're going to go back to our straight tool, and I pretty much lined up the highway the way I want lined up, and I'm just going to bring this up and over. So now what I did realize is because I have the brace in the middle, I have to delete it in order to get this up and over, and I'm just matching it up with the highway and then coming towards the middle and then coming across. So I'm going to do the same thing with the other highway, and I'm going to line it up with that one just the same. And here it just doesn't snap in, but that's okay. We can have it a little bit different. It's not a big deal. Next, I'm going to be inclining this by 12 and then putting it together and doing the same on the other side. So next I look at connecting the other side of the highway, and I realized because I terraformed it, I kind of did a complete stop there, so I had to kind of smooth this out. You have to smooth it out or it's going to be a mess. So I did just that, and as you can see, it does not line up. Now I don't have access to that tile, so I'm going to have to wait until I open it. So I'm going to have to bring this down and then curve it in. And you know, I don't have a large population right now. It should be fine. The traffic was running smoothly, so I'm not really worried about it. As long as it connects, that's your main goal. If you have no connection to the other side of the highway, that would be a problem. As you can see, it's not even that bad of a curve. You could leave it. It's just not for me. I would probably make it straight later on down the line. So now we're going to make the ramps onto the roundabout. So I'm going to connect the ramps to the roundabout, and the highway is just going to go over. And if you notice, the roundabout isn't perfectly centered to the middle, and that's fine. As long as it connects up properly, it'll be fine. Now before I connect, I just want to kind of brace this a little bit in a couple of areas so it doesn't distort the roundabout too much. So usually you would make the cross or the plus sign in the middle. I can't do that the way the highways are over it, but as long as I make a couple of braces in the middle, I just want to make sure I don't distort this too much. So now I'm just connecting the roundabout to the highway exits. And this way they kind of come off the highway, go to the roundabout, and then take the direction they want to take. So as you can see, I'm trying to come down and just come off to the side just a little bit on the roundabout. I want them kind of coming in and doing a smooth right turn, not a sharp right turn. If they have to make a sharp right turn, they have to slow down quite a bit, and then you can have traffic problems. So I just try to put it in on a little bit of a smoother curve for them, so this way it doesn't build up traffic as much. So now if you have problems trying to connect it, you might have to delete some of the braces because it creates a node that you can't kind of get around and it won't connect to. So now that we got the highway connected, we're going to connect these roads over here. These are the ones that go down to our industry and our residents. And right now the traffic is moving quite well. So I was going to upgrade this to a 6-lane, but I figured as long as it's working, I might as well leave well enough alone. And later on down the line, if I want to change it up, I can. So for now, we're just going to leave it. So the bottom one is not clicking in the way I wanted it to. See how the one over towards the right is nice and smooth. And then I realized it's because I have this brace on. So once I remove the brace and the node is clear, I can definitely put it in on the angle that I wanted. So next I'm just going to go in and upgrade all these ramps. And then we're going to come by the highway here and upgrade these ramps as well. Once that's done, we have to make sure everything's going in the right direction. And if it isn't, we need to change it. So let's jump in, turn it on, and see how it runs. So everything seems to be running quite smoothly, and I'm pretty happy with it. So this was a super simple, easy way to put in a highway exit. And next we're going to go ahead and move our services. So now that the highway's done, let's move our services over to this side. There is oil down here, and that will be a polluting industry, and I'll probably use it. So I figured, why not just add to it over in this area? It will keep the pollution over in the same area, and this way we can open up the other side to our neighborhood. That's where I wanted to do a mix of high density and low density, and I'm thinking that might be the city center. So that would be a good plan to kind of put the city center there and maybe put a mix of high and low density. So it's something I'm thinking about, but in the meantime, let's go ahead and move this over. I'm having a little bit of difficulty getting this to merge in exactly the way I wanted it to. I didn't want it to connect to the same nodes that are going onto the highway. And so I kind of had to play around with it just a little bit to get it lined up right. So yeah, this can be a pain sometimes to not get it to click in exactly where you want to, but if you play with it for a little while, you should be able to find a solution that will work. So now that we got this main road in, which is the 6th lane, I'm just looking around at how I want to put an industry road in. I'm going to use the industry roads, the 4-lane, to come off of here, and this will probably serve to go into some of this oil as well as our services. And I do know we have the landfill that has to empty still, so it'll be a little bit before we can build up on the other side. So now that we have that in, we're going to go ahead and use our 2-lane industry roads to put in for our water and our power plants. Now eventually I'll upgrade the power plants, and maybe I'll even go green depending on, you know, where we're at later on. But for now we have the coal, and then I'll probably put an oil power plant until we have a better budget to explore new options. So let's go in and start moving our power plants and figuring out where they're going to go. I'm still not sure that I like this setup that I have, but for now I'm going to move it in. Nothing is permanent here. They can all be moved. It's not like the landfill we have down there where we have to empty it first. So we're going to just see how it goes, and if I don't like it, I'll move it eventually later. But for now, it's close enough that I can run the electric and the water without having to kill the budget. So it's just fine where it is right now. One thing you want to keep in mind when you move services is that everything still has electric and water, and everything's powered up properly. Like right now, my water does not have electric, so I'm going to have to make sure they do. And my city won't have electric because I haven't run any power lines for that. Here I'm just putting in some recycling plants, so this way I can empty my landfill, and I create a road underneath here, just a temporary one, to make sure they have direct access to empty the landfill and they don't have to go through the highway. So next I just turn the time lapse up a little bit because we're just going to run the water, the electric, and I just turned on the emptying for the landfill. And as you can see, I'm kind of lining up my water to make sure I still stay on my 460 because I want to keep it lined up. And yeah, I'm just going to connect everything up and we'll get back to it. So here I go ahead and just move this water a little bit closer. It just is easier to run the electric to it. It's so far away from everything else. And I also didn't want it if I make my city center down there right on the edge. So here's a little overview of what we did today, and I hope that this shows you that you can use pretty simple things when making a highway exit, and it doesn't have to cost a lot of money, and it's also quite efficient. Now we don't have a super population going on in this area, but to be quite honest, I think this thing will hold up for quite a while. Later on, if we find that it's giving us any issues, we can upgrade it when we have a bigger budget. But right now, I think it serves its purpose, and we got the services moved. And I think the next episode, we're going to go ahead and upgrade that farm to level 5. We'll expand on that a little bit. And yeah, if you like what you see, please click the like button, subscribe, comment, share. And if you really like what you see and you're subscribed, hit that notification button so this way you know when I have a new episode out. So with that said, I'm going to say thank you and bye.